Hi, this is Billie Beene here with a Truth by Billie Beene flash update. We appear to be on the eve of destruction. So the date is November 20, 2024, time in Texas about noon. So we have New York Prepper reporting a few minutes ago that the Ukraine launched this morning into Russia Storm Shadow missile. Now this requires U.S. and NATO guidance. Russia looks upon this as these nations, the U.S., UK, NATO nations, attacking Russia. The storm shadow has a range of 200 to 500 miles. Moscow from the Ukraine border is approximately 1,000 miles. And we have this from PINBALL Prep. The silos in Kaliningrad presumably could hit Europe and their capitals. And we have Russia yesterday, according to PINBALL Prep, putting out two pressers, one for the Russian people and NATO, and one to their allies. So Russia yesterday put out two different pressers, one to the West, Russia will retaliate. One to their allies, China, Iran, and North Korea plus. Russia assures its allies it will not use nukes. However, Russia has conventional weapons that are equal to nukes or can devastate more than nukes. And we have this coming out from Hal Turner this morning. Russia deploys inside Russia. This has been going on for the last 24 to 48 hours. Russia deploys mobile nuke shelters for its citizens. Russia has begun, this happened on November 19, yesterday. Russia began mass production and full distribution of mobile nuke shelters for its citizens. Each shelter can hold up to 54 people. It's called a Cub-M shelter, and it can hold 54 people, and then it has a steel rack put over it on which cement blocks, each weighing 3,000 pounds, are put around it. So Russia began distributing these mobile nuke shelters for its people yesterday. And now we have this. Also yesterday, so we had on 11/19, we had Russia putting out nuke shelters for its people. We had President Putin plus military generals and their wives going to the bunkers in the Urals. Late yesterday, we had Russian politicians and their families also going to bunkers in the Urals. So Sunday at 3 a.m., that's when President Putin and his military officials went to their nuke shelter. So that happened Sunday. Today is Wednesday. So late Tuesday, yesterday, is when the politicians and their families went to the bunkers in the Urals mountains in the east of Russia. So Russia has President Putin, has military generals, their families, has continuity of Russian government politicians and their families in their bunkers in the Urals. Russia preps to respond to the U.S. ATACMS being used, and that was yesterday, 11/20. And today, New York Prepper reports that the UK launched from Ukraine Storm Shadow. That's the UK long-range missiles. So that happened again this morning. So yesterday, Tuesday, Monday, the U.S. NATO launched U.S. long-range missiles ATACMS into Russia. Today, the UK in Ukraine is launching its long-range missile Storm Shadow. And apparently, Russia is prepping to retaliate and may flatten Kiev, Lviv, inside Ukraine, and may also strike European cities, and may also strike Washington, D.C. Russia is in their doomsday bunker that is a 5-square-mile underground area. And now we have this. So we had today, then we have embassies closing. So we have embassies, evac, and close. And this is inside Ukraine. And this includes the U.S. Embassy. It includes Spain, Greece, embassies, evac, Kiev. Kiev is the capital city of Ukraine. So we have Kiev and we have Lviv. That's inside Ukraine, but very close to the border with Poland. Embassies, evac, Kiev. And Ukraine intel indicates, and this happened this morning, Russia preps to use a certain missile, an RS-26, that has a warhead of 1.2 megatons. This is equal to 1,000 kilotons. Very devastating. Embassies closing are U.S., Spain, Italy, and Greece. Evac and close this morning. It's believed that Russia will launch the RS-26 from Kasputin Yar. Kasputin Yar is another reference to the missile, and they will launch it from inside Russia from Astrakhan. And the objective is to destroy, flatten Kiev and Lviv. So this morning, embassies close in Kiev, U.S., Spain, Greece, Italy. So that's going on. And we have this. The RS-26 has a range of 6,000 kilometers. And PINBALL Prep put out that Kaliningrad could easily hit. This is a Russian enclave that's adjacent to Poland and Lithuania. Kaliningrad shares a boundary with Lithuania and Poland. Ukraine says Russia is also massing at its borders strategic bombers. So Russia is putting strategic bombers at the border with Ukraine, Tu-95s and Tu-160s. This is happening this morning. And we have this. Russia has its command and control plane in the air. So Russia puts up its command and control. This would be equal to the U.S. TACAMO, which is a take charge and move, E6B, TACAMO. So Russia's TACAMO is a Tu-214 PU. So Russia has this up today, and inside Russia, mobile nuke missile trucks. So also inside Russia, they have trucks that have launchers that can launch conventional or nuclear weapons. Now, as I said, from PINBALL Prep, Russia has put out two pressers yesterday. Yes, they're going to retaliate against the U.S. NATO for U.S. NATO using long-range missiles from Ukraine into Russia. And the reason they are is these long-range missiles, U.S. attack them, UK Storm Shadow, France, the Scalp, require the use of satellites and U.S. military, UK military, French military to launch from inside Ukraine. These long-range missiles are not launched by Ukraine military, but by the militaries of the U.S., UK, NATO. Therefore, Russia sees the U.S., UK, NATO as participants in the conflict. So inside Russia this morning, Russia is moving mobile nuke missile trucks around in different parts of Russia. And Russia has placed their strategic missile forces on combat status. And yesterday, inside Russia, on Russian TV, Russia and their news commentators gave out pressers and ran video showing to the Russian people what it would look like if Russia strikes NATO capitals and the U.S. capital of Washington, D.C. So they ran video showing what it would look like if Russia strikes Europe, capital cities, and Washington, D.C. They ran that yesterday, November 19. Russia is responding to the U.S. NATO use of long-range missiles inside Russia. Russia preps, its intel is coming out that Russia preps to hit Warsaw, Poland, Berlin, Germany, Paris, France, Washington, D.C., and London, England. This is being shown on Russian TV to Russian citizens. The Russian missiles could be launched in Kaliningrad and hit European capitals in 3 minutes. Now, I ran a simulation on Alex Wellerstein's nuke map. What would it look like for an RS-26 missile, which has a warhead of 1.2 megatons, which is equal to 1,000 kilotons? What would that look like if it hit Washington, D.C.? Immediately, you would have dead 451,000 people. Injured would be another 412,000. And I submit similar damage would occur in Warsaw, Poland, Berlin, Germany, Paris, France, London, England, and Washington, D.C. So the world is on the edge of World War III. We see this happening before our very lying eyes. It's good to be in prayer for America and for world peace. I love you, and I'll see you soon.